Hello, music fans. You're watching Death by Unicorn, where we talk about metal, rock, and prog music. And this is New Music Picks 2026. It's been over 2 weeks since I posted my last video in the series. Usually I do one every week or so. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. I saw Rush on August 11th in Toronto, which was awesome. Not sure if I'll do a full concert review video about that, but really enjoyed seeing them. They're one of my favorite bands from the 70s, probably my favorite band from the 70s, and really loved seeing them reunite. And yeah, other than that, just been busy with work and some travel, so I didn't do an episode of this series last week, so there's more albums to talk about than usual. I'm going to give my quick first impressions on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 new albums that came out between August 12th and today, and give my quick first impressions of them. And I'll talk about them in my order of preference, starting with Coma Control and their album Shed the Sleep. This came out on August 14th. It's the second album by this band from Finland, and it's progressive death metal. And this one I'm putting in my near masterpiece tier. If you're a fan of Between the Buried and Me and Opeth, definitely check this out. It really sounds like a mix of those bands. And those are two of my favorite bands of all time. So I just love this. Inherently Unmet sounds so much like Between the Buried and Me. At times you could almost convince me that it was them. But Coma Control has a different vocal sound to Between the Buried and Me. And yeah, just near masterpiece. I'm almost tempted to call it a masterpiece. The compositions are amazing. The only critique I could see people saying about this is that it sounds too much like their influences, too much like Between the Buried and Me, but I love it, so I don't care. If you like the sounds of that, check out Shed the Sleep by Coma Control. Why is that hard to say? Next, I want to mention an EP that came out on August 12th by a band I've been missing. I feel like they haven't put out music in a while, and I really enjoy them. And this band is called TTNG, which stands for This Town Needs Guns. And their EP is called Juggling Moves, and then in brackets, Beginner, which leads me to believe, I feel like they're probably going to release a follow-up to this, and then maybe they'll combine the two EPs to make it into an album. But TTNG is a math rock band from the UK. They've got some emo, some indie rock, some alternative pop, and progressive influences. This one I'm putting in my excellent tier. Just an amazing EP by this band. To me, TTNG is actually the perfect example of what a math rock band should sound like. To me, they're like the archetype of, if you're trying to sound like a perfect math rock band, this is how you do it. Guitar playing is outstanding. The songwriting's great. They have a unique vibe. They have this great emo style vocals. If you like math rock, this is probably the best you can get this year in math rock. So check out Juggling Moves Beginner by TTNG. Next, I'll mention Pattern Seeking Animals and their album Grimalkin, which came out on August 21st. This is the sixth album by this American band. This is progressive rock with art rock and cinematic influences. This one I'm putting in my excellent tier as well. And this band features some Spock's Beard members. So if you follow Spock's Beard at all, this is essential listening if you like that band. They offer their cinematic art rock with some strong melodies, great vocal performances, solid arrangements. Very accessible prog rock music you could listen to around mainstream music listeners and they would enjoy it. There's nothing uncomfortable or weird or too out there here. So my main critique with it is it just sounds very similar to all their other albums to me. So they aren't really breaking new ground or doing anything too original here. But I still enjoy it. It's a great listen, just excellent songwriting. That sounds good. Check out Grimalkin by Pattern Seeking Animals. Then, changing gears to something pretty different, let's chat about Noveria and their album Becoming After, which came out on August 21st. the 5th album by this Italian band. This is progressive power metal with symphonic metal influences. I'm also putting this in my excellent tier. We've got a lot of excellent tier ones today, and this band has just powerful vocals, they have great riffs, they have technical musicianship in the vein of Dream Theater, Symphony X, Camelot, and Evergrey. If you like those bands, definitely check out Noveria. This album is similar to all of the other Noveria albums, though, to me. They're not really doing anything too original here, just continuing to make excellent progressive power metal. So if you like that style, this is one of the best bands in that style, I'd say. So check out Becoming After by Noveria. Then also on August 21st, Oddland released Unilluminate to Illuminate, the 4th album by this Finnish band. This one's progressive metal / rock. It's kind of right on the border, leaning more towards metal, I'd say. And I'm putting this in my excellent tier as well. And I thought their last album, Vermilion from 2022, was also excellent. This one's on par with that, just solid progressive metal, great guitar riffs. Some of them bring that Middle Eastern sound to the riffs using those Middle Eastern scales. So if that sounds good, check out Unilluminate to Illuminate by Oddland. And next I'll talk about the Absolution sequence and their album Dread Cycle, which came out August 14th. And this one is a debut album by an Australian band, and they're technical death metal. They've got some groove metal, they've got some progressive metal. Also in my excellent tier, this is a band I never heard of before, but I heard the single, The Nightlight Sigil, ahead of the release, and it's extreme, it's heavy, it's powerful, intense, harsh vocals, and dissonant guitar chugging. So check out this album if you want some crushingly heavy death metal that's still musically interesting and groovy. This is definitely the most extreme of my recommendations so far, with the intense guttural vocals. I guess Coma Control is pretty extreme too, but I think the Absolution sequence takes it to the extreme here. So check that out, Dread Cycle by the Absolution sequence. Then I want to mention another EP. This EP is called Retribution by Sarah Longfield, that came out August 15th. She's an artist from the US. It's progressive metal, kind of gent, prog rock, math rock, post rock, all mixed together. Excellent tier EP. Sarah Longfield is, I think, primarily a guitarist, but she also sings. Her guitar playing is very well done. At times it's genty like Periphery. At times it sounds like technical death metal like The Faceless or The Heart Machine. At times it's soft and ambient or jazzy. And at times it has the hints of math rock and emo. Her vocals are out there. They remind me a bit of Julie Christmas, which I like. They're pretty much all clean vocals, but there's some grit to her vocals, and they don't do what you would expect and stick to just catchy poppy melodies. They sustain just these vibes that go with the music. I definitely need to hear more of her past albums. I remember seeing some of her shred guitar videos on YouTube and liking her playing, but I don't think I ever listened to a full album by her before this. But I'm curious to hear more after hearing this EP. If you like crazy shred guitar with some female vocals over top, check out Retribution by Sarah Longfield, the great progressive metal EP. And then last one in my excellent tier before I drop down to my very good tier, I want to mention the band Untitled with Drums. Silly band name. My theory is they were just called Untitled and then they got a drummer and changed their name to Untitled with Drums. But they put out a new album called Made Flesh, which came out on August 21st. This is their second album. They're from France, and they put it out on Season of Mist, so thanks to that label for putting this on my radar. This is kind of alternative metal or alternative rock. It's got some post-rock, post-hardcore, noise influences, even some prog metal influences, I'd say, but still more kind of in the alternative metal style. Just excellent tier stuff, though. If you're a fan of bands like Carnival and Deftones, like I am, check this out. It's a bit progressive, but yeah, like I said, more on the alternative metal and rock side. Parasitic is a great song in particular that sounds a lot like Deftones to me, so I really enjoyed the whole album. Check out Made Flesh by Untitled with Drums. Now dropping down to my very good tier, I've got King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with Alien Metal, the 28th album by this Australian band. And this one is electronic. It's EDM, it's progressive house, psytrance, techno, breakbeat, hardcore, jungle. Kind of dabbles in all those styles. And those aren't really my bread and butter, my main styles of music, but I love King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, so I check out everything they do because they're just an amazing shape-shifting band. I put this in my very good tier. This band, King Giz, they don't know how to stick to a genre. They play everything over their career. They range from mostly psychedelic rock, but they do prog rock, thrash metal, dream pop, spaghetti western, EDM, blues rock, jazz fusion. And on this one, they're exploring electronic music again, like they did on The Silver Chord. And this isn't my favorite style of King Giz music, but the singles I heard were pretty good. I usually love what they do, so I was looking forward to this album. And I feel the whole album is very good for this style, but it's just not my preferred style of music. They don't really have any bad albums, but if I was ranking their albums, which I have done a while back on my channel, but they've released so many since then, I would probably put this in my bottom few from them, perhaps just above their debut 12 Bar Brews and their fourth album Oddments, which are my two least favorite from them. I think this is better than those, but it doesn't really hold a candle to what this band is capable of at their best. And maybe if you really like electronic music, you're going to like this. But I kind of like hearing their other kinds of sounds. But if you want to hear a psychedelic, experimental, progressive band doing EDM, this is for you, so check it out. Now I want to mention Chelsea Wolfe and her album The Dark, 9th album by this American artist. And this one's dark folk rock. It's got gothic rock, doom metal, art rock, electronic pop, sludge metal, post-metal, experimental, and industrial influences. It's got all those. I wouldn't say it's really like got too much metal, but you can feel her metal spirit. It's more of a folk rock album, but it's dark, it's doomy and gloomy. And I put this in my very good tier. And yeah, if you like this doom and gothic folk style, check this out. This follows up her more electronic work from 2024. And I expected her usual mix of beauty, ruin, and slow burning dread. And that's exactly what I got here. I think this album is a lot more normal and standard than her last album, though. And it could be enjoyed by people who just like acoustic folk singer-songwriter stuff, as long as they're okay with it being kind of sad and dark sounding. So that sounds good. Check out The Dark by Chelsea Wolfe. Last one of my very good tier before I drop down to my good tier. I'm reviewing a album that came out August 14th called Sending Hearts to All My Dearies, a tribute to the Smashing Pumpkins. So this is actually a compilation album, and I don't talk about those too much, but it's a bunch of covers from other bands covering Smashing Pumpkins songs. So it's alternative rock, very good tier album. I do enjoy a lot of Smashing Pumpkins songs and albums, but they're not really among my favorite bands list or anything. But I became interested in this album because Between the Buried and Me does a track on here, Jelly Belly. Most of the other artists featured on here are ones I haven't heard of, except I've heard of Tame Impala and Nita Strauss, who also do covers on here. On listening to this album, though, I really enjoyed every track on here. Every artist that's covering Smashing Pumpkins does a great job. It's weird that there are some repeats of the same song being done multiple times, but it actually didn't bother me that much. I thought it would be weird when I saw the track list, but each track is done by a different artist, and each artist brings their own unique style, and they all do it so well that I wasn't even bothered by hearing the same song multiple times on the album, just done by different artists. And it featured some of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins songs like Today, Cherub Rock, 1979, Bullet with Butterfly Wings. So if you like Smashing Pumpkins and want to hear some bands cover them, definitely check this out. Sending Hearts to All My Dearies, a tribute to the Smashing Pumpkins. And last album I'm going to talk about in this video is by Weezer. It came out August 21st. It's Weezer's Gold album, 20th album by this American band. It's alternative rock with power pop and indie rock influences. I'm putting this in my good tier. This is the latest entry in their color-coded, self-titled series. After they did blue, they did green, they did red, white, teal, and black. And it's supposed to be this fuzzy, melodic power pop return to form. It's not metal, it's not prog, but it's just a fun comfort food rock record for anyone who grew up on Weezer's blue and green albums and other classic albums from Weezer. It's good stuff. It's nothing earth-shattering, nothing game-changing here, just decent poppy alternative rock power pop music. If you like the sounds of that, check out Weezer's Gold album by Weezer. And that's it for my first impressions on these 12 albums that came out over the past couple of weeks. What do you think of these albums? Let me know down in the comments. And did anything else come out recently that you think I might enjoy? Also let me know. And if you like metal rock and prog music, you're in the right place. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the loop when I post new videos. My next video in this series, I'll be giving my first impressions on new music from Mastodon, Gorod, Carphagen, Steve Hackett and Steve Rothery, Russian Circles, The Warning, and maybe some more. And that's all for now. Peace out.